How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the TheBlueShifting, and welcome back to Muv-Luv Monday, where, yeah, things are gonna probably get spicy. I don't like what Weller revealed last week, because it felt like it was a lot of it was like truths, but they were skewed, they were twisted, and that could be just Weller's information is going to be inherently biased. It could be some of his information is conjecture, and he just didn't present it as that. Like, he presented conjecture as if it were fact. And then ultimately, I still feel like that all the information he was presented in the style it was presented in was to try and make Yuuya feel like he had the means to do everything he needs to. The people are going to help him when he needs to do it, and that it's the right thing to do, even though it's technically a betrayal of the XFJ program, and it could be like, it's very likely he comes out of this dead, and if not dead, nearly so, especially career-wise. But you know, I think that the motivation and the potential gain is just so good that they're willing to sacrifice Yuuya for this operation. And so I feel like he's gonna go, and I bet you he'll be successful, but getting out of this situation again, like being able to actually move forward from here, you know, I just don't see it. I really don't, because he's gonna essentially be stealing like what the government has apprehended, despite the fact that the government's also helping him do it, but they're gonna wash their hands of that. So it's just gonna be him stealing technology, using the stealth mechanics, proving that it's a stealth-based TSF, you know, undermining the XFJ program, you know, investigation that might be able to be okay. You know, I don't know. They're making it sound like it's inevitable that it's gonna flop, but like, there's always more going on behind the scenes than meets the eye. But he's gonna steal it. He's gonna prove their point. He's gonna essentially go AWOL. He's gonna go and attack the Russians, and he's going to take away one of their like most important assets, like that they've been willing to kill just to try and keep people from getting hints at what they're actually like and how their whole program was built. So that's just awful. Like, it's all bad. It's all bad. But you guys made his choice, so let's buckle up. We'll see what happens. I imagine this is going to be a multi-parter. A lot of these types of missions are exciting, but they're also lengthy. And you know, we'll see how much I feel like doing before we close shop. But let's see what happens. Okay, it's game time. Weller really went an extra mile. Guy's a perfectionist. This has been so easy, it's actually kind of anticlimactic. And I don't expect to have any more trouble sneaking inside the Soviet lab. There's no coming back from this. But no. Whatever lingering attachments I might have, they're irrelevant. This is the only thing I'm taking with me. Yui, I won't make excuses, but I also won't apologize. Yeah, she's going to be so mad at you. Because I really wish you could talk to her, because I bet you she'd have a better idea of how to do this. I've made my choice. Not one to put a gun to my head, this is my decision alone. How I fight my own battles. Thank you. I'm glad I met you. God, fetch me. Thank you, everyone. Meeting you and everyone else was the best thing that could have happened to me. This is goodbye. At least he's not an idiot. Well, he's being an idiot, but he's not so much an idiot that he thinks he can actually like get away with this clean. 15 minutes till I get the show on the road.
私の話は以上だ。前回と同様、強制はしない。
The best manipulators don't need to make you. They make you want to.
自分自身の信念に基づいて決めてくれれば、それでいい。
わかった。あんたの力を貸してくれ。
そう言ってくれると信じていたよ。ブリッジス少尉。現在サンダーク大尉は XFJ 計画への捜査に慌てた党幹部に召喚され、セラビクにいる。
そりゃ好都合だぜ。
手順はこうだ。ボーニングのハンガーで強化装備に換装。陽動開始までドレッシングルームで待機。
単独犯に見せかけるんじゃないのか。監視カメラの記録は
もちろん時限発火装置などを使いなるべくそう見せかける。だがデジタルデータなど後でどうとでも加工できる。操作するのは我々だしな。
Crap. You know, that's the other thing. So even if this somehow miraculously comes out ahead, they're gonna have then dirt on him for the rest of his life. They'll have this footage that they could save away and they could be like, hey, do what we want or else we'll, show this.
なるほど。つくづくアメリカ人でよかったぜ。
ハンガー離脱後は、撹乱のため一度東に向かい、演習区画に入ったら、例のステルス制御装置を解除。反転して、ポールネー・ザトミーニー計画研究施設に向かえ。
So he's saying, make a beeline out as if someone's stealing it, and then cloak essentially to drop off radar and make his way to his real target.
目標手前約3キロの森に自立防衛モードで機体を隠蔽。偶然通りかかる軍用車両を強奪し、施設に向かう。
偶然ね。
I really don't like this.
ああ、偶然だよ。潜入に関して接しな少尉とのすり合わせはしてあるか？
俺の接近を合図に、イーニャが強化装備を準備し、合流する手はずになっている。
Okay.
よし、いいぞ。施設内の警備兵の巡回パターンは網膜投影にリアルタイムで共有する。
ありがたい。それにイーニャの能力が加われば最強だ。
警備システムと通信をごまかせるのは15分が限度だ。それまでにビアチェナー少尉を施設外に連れ出せ。
Alright, so we got our time limit. We got our numbers to crunch.
単独犯を装う以上、我々は直接的な支援を一切行わない。準備し、スタートラインに君を立たせるだけだ。
わかってる。さっきの下見の感じなら15分あれば余裕だ。中枢部の電子ロックさえパスできればな。
問題ない。準備するパスコードで警備室から全て解除できる。だが、病室の隔壁だけは最後に手動入力する必要がある。
Okay, so he can get him some locks except for the super high level one.
隔壁を開けるための網膜や証文照合は潜入員のハッキングでごまかす。だが、最後のパスワードだけは手動入力じゃないと解除できない。
Yeah, ironically, in our modern era, one of the safest ways of maintaining security is actually hardware. Being able to have requiring a manual punch-in, for instance, and making sure it's not connected to a network of any kind. You can still trick it, obviously, but if you ironically, if you use the older and older the technology gets, the safer and safer it actually becomes in many ways, depending on the level. Obviously, it's kind of like a lock and key system, like the old padlocks. A lot of them could be opened by modern tools very effectively, but if you didn't know going in what you were dealing with and you didn't bring a lockpick kit, you'd actually probably have a bit of a problem trying to unlock it.
なるほど。じゃあパスコードがあれば。
病室のパスコードだけは日替わりでな。
おい、まさか。
今日の今日で入手するのは非常に骨だったぞ。
So they got today's password.
くそ。驚かさないでくれ。
It's way too convenient. There's so many red flags and warning bells going off in my head with this.
ビアチェノワ少尉救出後は南東に進路を取り、カナダ国境沿いに進め、追撃などの状況に応じ、フェアバンクス、アンカレッジ、バンクーバーの3オプションで行く。
Fairbanks and Anchorage, I understand. Isn't Vancouver really far, though?
アラスカはあくまで緊急退避用だと思え。CIA の手が回りやすい上に、亡命騒ぎは生々しすぎる。
Okay.
本土の防空識別圏に侵入したら制御装置を作動。レーダーに捕捉させてやれ。あとはスクランブル機の誘導に従う。いいな。
それはいいが、この距離、推進剤はどうするんだ？万が一迂回が必要になった場合もだ。
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
94セカンドには YF23 譲りのジャルスがある。 それを使い、想定ルート上の数カ所にある物資集積基地や操車場の輸送列車から拝借しろ。
Borrowing fuel. Cool. Borrowing fuel.
ジャルさ、ラプターの追加装備じゃないか。聞いてないぞ、そんなの。
だろうな。それこそが YF23 疑惑の決定打だ。君たちテストパイロットも騙されていたというわけだよ。
Oh. I guess I did mention that a little bit. The universal refueling system that was part of the YF-23's design. That they chose the Raptor, but they incorporated that technology into the Raptor. And they're saying, look, we have a connection between this and the Raptor, not just the old design of the Widow. And that crosses the line.
そういうことか。で、迂回や戦闘の場合は
やむなく交戦した場合は無力化し、突撃砲とサブマグを奪え。ああ、ついでに推進剤と電気も頂戴しておくといい。
Oh gosh, man, he's just saying like committing war crimes casually. Yeah, there's no guarantee that they could even do anything to help him afterwards if they ended up doing that.
ジャルスがあれば外装キットなしに戦術機からも野戦給油や充電が可能なはずだ。
That's actually cool. Didn't realize that JSSR was that adaptable.
確かにそうだが。まあ、戦闘は極力避けるさ。
Fetch me. This is gonna be bad.
それがいい。そのための非常に便利な隠し機能が付けられているらしいから、思う存分使うといい。
The electronic restriction he mentioned in passing was and to enable active stealth. Holy crap, Heinemann, you've really done it now.
まあいい。どのみち、あれに3人乗るんじゃ戦闘なんて無理だ。だが万が一ってこともある。せめて。
その点は抜かりない。計測機器類はすでに下ろしてある。後部シートには緊急用の4点ハーネスも設置済みだ。
Gosh darn it. I'm really trying to think of any way that he could actually swing this that could go better but still rescue her. Like, I want to rescue Kriska, I really do. And I really feel like we could try and do it another day or another time, but the linchpin is that rotating password. I'm guessing that's a very true thing. It feels like something that a high security section of the Soviet base would absolutely use, which is a hard rotating password that's daily use type of thing, just to try and make sure that people can't prepare for a big operation very easily. And so that puts a big time pressure on us. We've literally got just a couple hours in order to actually have this window, work. It's just, I really don't like how rushed this all is, and I feel like it's only going to make things dangerous, more dangerous, and I think Yuuya will not come out of this. And I'm trying to think of any possible way he could, and I'm just not, I'm not coming up with anything. I maybe that's a failing on my part, but I really don't feel like there's a win here. I mean, even if they get Kriska out and Inya out, I worry they're just going to become super pawns and essentially be subjected to the same experimentation just in America now.
手回し良すぎだろ。最初から俺が引き受ける前提だったってことか。
たとえ無駄になるとしても、我々は常にあらゆる状況を想定し、最善を尽くしておく。特に今回は、君たちを死なせるわけにはいかないからな。
そうか。
ブリッジス少尉。
なんだ。
よくぞ決心してくれた。
Yeah.
改まって。急にどうしたんだ。
戦友との縁や筋。それ以外にも思うところが多々あっただろう。君の決断が団長の思いの果てにあることは想像に難くない。
Yeah, I'm glad he's at least acknowledging that this is an utter super betrayal of the XFJ program.
アメリカの戦後だ、英雄だなんだと、職責上ああいう言い方になったことを詫びる。だが、私個人としての思いも何ら変わることはない。ここで君が動かなければ、アメリカの戦後はもちろん、いや、 もっと君に近い視点で言わせてもらうなら。
The Ghost of Christmas Future. There's like every time, like there's a lot of depictions that have been done of the Christmas Carol. My favorite one to this day, and I still think is the best one of all of them, is the Muppets version. And the Muppets Christmas Carol does a great job of like it's being goofy and fun and lighthearted until the Ghost of Christmas Future comes, and then it's just horror. It's just like it sent child me into an essentially an existential crisis. So all I see is when he mentions that is just the hooded figure with no face and creepy bluish hands that just coldly points in the direction of pain.
おそらくビアチェノア少尉は遠からず死亡し、シェスチナ少尉はサンダーク大尉に囚われ、人体実験の対象であり続けただろう。94セカンドは CIA が押収。高村中尉はハイネマンと共にスパイ容疑で逮捕投獄。XFJ 計画は中止となり、それを援助したプロミネンス計画も縮小、あるいは
It sucks.
解体に至ったはずだ。
It really sucks because I feel like the Shiranui second really, they really probably should have waited. I mean, I think they were kind of put into a corner where they had to move forward with the phase 3, but I hate that it led to this.
君が決断しなければ、その全てが失われていただろう。
He will still though.
今、行動によってその全てを取ることができるのは君しかいない。
No, like that's not true. That can't be true. Like the best he could get is Kriska and Inya a hope of potentially being okay together in the future. That's the best outcome. I still think everything else he said is going to happen if he does this.
バンクーバーで待っている。
Great, cool. To make everything I wish come true, huh? That's a good picture. Might make a good thumbnail. I'm guessing we'll get a lot of good thumbnail options, but this looks like a good one.
はい、皆さんお疲れさんです。
お疲れ様です。
残念ながらまだドゥール中尉も高村中尉もミスターハイネマンも戻ってきてはいません。つきましては作業は山のように溜まっておりますが、これ以上は何もできませんので、最小限の警備人数を残して解散したいと思います。
I'm glad he's still working, but I got the impression that Vincent was also being interrogated. Like, Yuuya at least thought that, but maybe that's just because Yuuya was kept away from him?
明日の朝には全員無事に揃っているとは思いますが、それに合わせて作業許可も下りると思いますので、それまではゆっくりと体を休めてください。
And if Vincent's right here, not just being optimistic, and that tomorrow the people were going to be released and the investigation was going to be essentially like shelved or at least allowed to allow them to proceed with the XFJ program, Yuya's gonna mess that up right here. Oh no. Gosh darn it.
なんだ？
ローエル主任、格納庫の外、何か炎上しています。
Don't play that alarm. I know that alarm's a good one to getting people's attention, but it makes me feel terrible. I hate that sound. I hate it. I think someone one time as a joke sent me like an audio clip of it from YouTube that just plays the sound but really loud and didn't tell me what it was, and it was awful. If this was like an alarm on my phone, I would have a heart attack every morning.
炎上？畜生！またテロかよ。
本部に連絡を取れ。総員その場を動くな。3名状況確認に向かえ。
I still feel like he's doing a bad thing here. Like, Yuuya, I really don't think this is good.
発煙筒？全員その場に伏せろ。
嘘だろおい。ここにテロリストどもが殴り込んできたのかよ。
頭を上げるな。動く者は撃つ。
この音、戦術機の起動音？
なんだ？何が起きてる？なんだ？中でパレットが動いてる。
The Shiranui second will not take off, and the gantry will be destroyed in the process. If you value your lives, step the hell back.
この声は？
行かせるな。
You better run, I'm serious. Imagine someone stealing like a fighter jet, and like I don't know how you'd manage that, but like imagine. Except that thing is so big and scary. That won't work. Oh, fetch me. There's people still probably in there.
強情な方だ。ですがね、注意。こういうのは口裏を合わせたつもりでも、
It's like I
いずれ破
thought.
綻するんですよ。今だってもうハイネマン氏が真実を供述しているかもしれない。
See the investigation. Like they wouldn't even be using this type of tactic if they actually had a wench in. Like if they had everything they needed, they wouldn't bother with interrogations. They'd just be like, "Oh, you're booked. We're done. This is over. Case closed." If they don't have enough to actually convict, they're putting this pressure on trying to hope for someone to slip, and they've just got Yuuya to slip.
そうなれば、あなたの立場は不利になる一方だ。ずっと狭い部屋に詰めてお疲れでしょう。本当のことを言っていただければ楽になれますよ。
No.
気遣いは無用だ。私は真実を述べている。
入れ。
失礼します。注意、こちらを。
事実確認は済んだのか。
は。
高村注意。やはり本件は計画的な犯罪行為であったと断じざるを得ませんね。
Interesting.
理由を聞こう。
問題の機体、94セカンド1番機が、
Yep.
ボーニングの格納庫から強奪されたそうですが。
So, like, essentially, he's just killed the program himself. Yuuya, you idiot!
何？
監視カメラに強奪犯が映っていました。
バカな。これは。
And look, they told him the information wouldn't slip.
ブリッジス少尉 XFJ 計画のメインテストパイロット。この顔。当然ご存知ですね。
And I really wonder, like, how far is this gonna go? Is this about trying to get Kriska and Inya, or is this about super screwing them over? Because the thing is, like, if he goes in and he tries and he runs towards the Soviet base and like escapes with the Scarlet Twins, they could try and make it sound like he's just been a sympathizer the whole time.
Yuuya.
なるほど。査察を恐れて強行手段に出ましたか。手際の良いことです。
He ruined everything. I think he really just screwed everything. I think they would have been able to get out of it. It would have been tough. I think they would have made it. That's me, Yuuya. You really screwed this up. No one's chasing after me. Excellent. The DIA's covered every angle. Heck of a job, Weller. Time to enable active stealth capabilities. Now, and what if the stealth capabilities were disabled so they can track his movements anyway? Now all that's left is to make a beeline for the facility where Kriska and Inya are being held. Residual heat's not going to be a problem. The training grounds are jam-packed with TSS flying all over the place in the training exercises. Even with IR tracing, identifying the heat markers should take some time. Place is a no man's land of sorts, so I only have to worry about audio and visual emissions. Here I come, flying to the rescue at the sheer nearest second. You idiot. This is reckless as hell, borderline insane even. I guess I learned from the best. Crap, I hate this! Hindsight, maybe Vincent was right. Maybe you and I do have similar temperament or whatever. Not like I would be caught dead admitting it though. Wouldn't want that guy to get too full of himself. But that explains why we were on a collision course since the moment we met. I mean, what kind of lead developer would think attacking his own subordinate with a combat-ready Takuma Kazuchi is a good idea? And then there's the time she mano-a-mano'd with the beta with a tank class, no less. Takes balls of steel to pull off a stunt like that. Huh. Seriously, I learned from the best. Speaking of which, this isn't the first time I've seen a TSF coming to the rescue. Huh. Except our positions were reversed back then. Feels like ancient history. Less than 6 months ago, the thought Kriska and I would grow so close would never have crossed my mind. Oh, Yeah, we're seeing great example. Life is full of twists and turns for sure. Let's just hope it doesn't throw another one at me quite just yet. But since I won't know until it happens, there's no point in stressing over the possibility. Oh gosh, I just remembered. Remember the entire charade about that whole thing where they purposely tried to get her isolated and there were like two groups that were trying to capture her? I think one of them must have just been Weller, right? So Weller's been really just trying to get the Scarlet Twins from a long time. And I'm guessing he's he's decided to screw over everyone else it takes to get his hands on them. Aw, man, Yuuya, why? Dang it. Not much longer till I reach the Soviet border. Once I cross over, I'll become an internationally wanted criminal. I mean, you kind of already are. There's a red carpet reception waiting for me this time. So what? I wasn't a fan of the celebrity treatment, and Soviet radar and sensors won't identify the Shirinu second as a TSF even if they catch me. One thing we learned thanks to the Infinity's extracurricular activities. My fate is linked with the Soviet Union in some weird ways. Whenever I'm involved in that country, things go wild, and I end up leaving my self-preservation instinct at home to pull off some crazy bullcrap. The encryption line. No. Oh my gosh, he's not gone. Captain Sandek? Crap, now I remember. We gave him access to the encrypted line back in the terrorist attack. Is Sandek gonna come through and help us see how screwed we accidentally made ourselves?
気づいたか？
分かってるってば。フェーズ3がユーヤの機体がない。
秘匿回線。
軽口を叩いてる暇はないわ。ドールチューが出撃可能状態で待機しろって言ってた理由が。
Right.
これね。
あいつまさか。
全員着座したようだな。このまま優先接続しろ。
Yeah.
では、ブリーフィングを始める。
I think Yuuya was full on manipulated. I think I was right. I think it all stunk, and unfortunately, he's played right into their hands.
現在、XFJ 計画に対する米軍の拘束は解除されたが、高村中尉とハイネマン氏は未だ尋問中であり、意思決定が機能していない状態にある。
Yeah, see? Yuuya didn't know, but like essentially they didn't have enough to lock him down. They eventually were gonna have to give up until someone slipped. Yuuya slipped.
その最中、つい先ほど格納庫が襲撃され、94セカンド一番機を強奪された。
Oh my gosh.
一体誰が？
犯人はユーヤ・ブリッジス少尉。監視カメラの映像とデータリンク転送されたコックピットの着座情報で確認されている。
Oh gosh!
現在 XFJ 計画は国連軍およびアメリカに対し実証実験機奪還のための作戦行動を申請。現在返答待ちだ。
ドール注意。質問の許可を。
なんで？
出撃する場合、どこまでやれと。
強奪された94セカンド一番機の確保と回収。それに加え実行犯の逮捕。
Right.
これが第一優先だ。
Right.
撃破、あるいは無力化による残骸および破片の回収。これを第二優先とする。この場合、実行犯の生死は問わない。
What a crappy place to be put, huh?
いずれにせよ、我々がなすべきは、XFJ 計画とアルゴス小隊が一連の事件に無関係である事実を。
ユーヤ・ブリッジス少尉だけがスパイだった。そういうことでしょうか。状況から見て、東側勢力、あるいはテロ組織にシンパシーを抱いて行動を起こした。そう見るのが妥当だと。
Oh my gosh, it sucks so bad!
なんかの間違いだろ？ありえねえ。
But Stella's right. She's thinking very clearly here.
探偵ごっこはもう十分か。続けるぞ。
Lot. That's a loud silence. That's the phrase.
現在整備班に AH 戦装備の準備をさせている。作戦の許可が下り次第、実弾の電子封印が解かれる。引き続き調整作業に協力しろ。実戦モード転換作業が終わり次第、貴様たちはブリーフィングルームにて臨戦待機。
了解。詮索はそこまでって言われてもね。
余計なことは考えないようにしようや。前線で敵前逃亡したやつなんだ。
Yeah.
5万と似てるだろ。
That's a reality that they don't talk about, huh? How to hunt down your fellow soldiers who just who are just willing to do whatever it takes to get away.
あるよ。その末路もね。指示あるまで待機するわ。以上。
だな。大丈夫か？
足りめえだよ。とっとと通信切りやがれ。
了解。そんじゃな。
あのバカ。XFJ 計画で保証された将来を全部投げ捨てやがった。
Yeah, he really did.
XFJ 計画に対し、アメリカ当局の捜査が入った場合、ブリティッシュ少尉は開発機である94セカンドを強奪し、その後何らかの手段で機体を回収する。そういう手順が事前に組まれていたのではありませんか？高村中尉？
そのような写真、いくらでも加工できよう。強奪が事実なら、直接確認させろ。通せ！
この後に及んでまだそのようなことを。機関の言動は同盟国間の審議則に反する。
I can also say, screw this guy. Like this man in particular really sucks.
ユーヤ・ブリジスはそのような男ではない。通せ！私は自分の目で確かめる。
とにかくおかけください、高村中尉。もう一度最初から事情を聞かせていただきましょうか。もはや容疑で済む段階ではありません。今度は黙秘ですか。その態度こそが疑わしい。後ろ暗いところがないのであれば、むしろ事件解決に協力する姿勢を示してはいかがです？
Alright. Again, screw you, dude, because first of all, you exercising your right to be silent is exactly what you should be doing in these situations. The fact that they actually have the authority because it's the military and because of the situation of the Beta War, they're actually being able to interrogate her so long and so much without representation despite claiming to be American. You know, like, obviously, rules get circumvented for circumstance, but the fact is, she technically should have representation and legal representation with her when she's being interrogated, when things can be brought up. It's like that's as much of a right as her right to be silent. And saying that by being silent it makes you look more suspicious is actually just a ploy. Maybe to the person sitting in the chair it might make you seem more suspicious, but the thing is that doesn't matter when it comes to an investigation. You should always maintain your silence until you have proper legal counsel and you have enough information to be able to know when you might without accidentally incriminating yourself, and making sure that you have like your just rights when you're being processed for things. Like if they have proper evidence, you having representation or maintaining your silence shouldn't change the outcome. So if they're putting pressure on you to speak and saying you look suspicious by not talking, that's because they don't have enough on you yet. And that means that there's enough doubt that they're trying to force you to say something to compromise yourself. You should never allow that if you can. And the thing is that they're going to wear you down. They're going to try and make you panic. They're going to try and make you feel isolated. They're going to try and make you feel like there's no other options, or that there's no point in resisting even if you are innocent, and that it would be better to just take a plea deal to get this mess over with. It's never the right answer. Never, ever, ever. And so, again, screw this guy for using these tactics. And then, you know, the thing is, like, I would respond to this and be like, I've just told you how it would help. Let me confirm that this is happening, and I'll make sure to rectify it with every fiber of my being to make sure that Shiranui gets recovered. But if you won't let me leave, I can't help you with your investigation.
注意。期間は？
では、期間に問う。
何でしょう？
機関の言う強奪が実際にあったと仮定しよう。
仮定ね。
国連軍に一時派遣されている身ではあるが、ユーヤ・ブリッジス少尉はアメリカ陸軍所属の兵士だ。
Fair point.
何をおっしゃりたい？
アメリカが不当に日本帝国の重要な資産である知らぬ鋳型を強奪した理由、説明いただきたい。
Yeah, flip that script pretty quick, huh?
なんだと？
Why would I assume he's an agent of my unit when he's obviously a US pilot? Seems to me that the US has just absconded with my TSF.
アメリカの政界における軍産複合体の影響力は強大。大統領の椅子すら左右するほどと聞き及んでいる。ボーニング社もその一つだ。
Yep, yep, yep.
何が言いたい？
Saying it's an inside job, you idiot.
では説明願おうか。アメリカがユーヤ・ブリッジスに何を命令したのか。
Oh, she's actually... See how clever she is? She's actually nailed it right away.
今すぐ。
She nailed it, exactly. They'll never admit it, but they nailed it. Oh, she's good. What the fetch? He's supposed to be away tending to Soviet bigwigs' whims. He's already figured out what's going on? The DIA should be running interference on folks monitoring us, unless the information about the Shiranui second being stolen has already been formally announced to the parties involved. Good thinking, Yuuya! Darn right I have. There's really no chance in hell I'm talking to you. Oh, Yuuya, you're really... You just dove right into the deep end with the sharks. Razor sharp as always. Didn't expect otherwise from the captain. I know, right?
ソ連軍の兵士を誘拐するのか。だとすれば、ことはソビエトとアメリカだけでなく、日本と国連を巻き込んだ大問題に発展するな。
Exactly! And if I don't know that, you butthole, stop rubbing salt into the wound.
まあいい。おそらく、どこぞの犬にでもそそのかされたのだろう。
Yep.
だがよく考えろ。その者たちの甘い言葉の意味を、自らの手を読ませない者が口にする大義や信念の空虚さを。
Gosh darn it. I never thought I'd be 100% on Sandek's side, but I am! He's absolutely right. He's right about that. I'm the only one putting my life at risk.
利用されているのがわからないのか。貴様の行動は、結果的にプロミネンス計画そのままを潰すのだぞ。
Yep.
アメリカはレッドシフトの悪評を緩和し、自国の G 弾戦略を合流するため、ベアチナの少尉を国連の非人道的施策の被害者として検伝するだろう。
Yep, and they're gonna leave you in the dirt. In fact, when he goes to try and link up, how much you want to bet Yuuya pops out of that cockpit and they gun him down? How much you want to bet that's exactly what they would do? And they'd say they'd apprehended him. For the love of... Shut the fetch up! You were the one who violated her human rights, and the UN deserves whatever's coming to them for letting it happen.
ベアチナが少尉を生んだ技術は、もともと国連の対ベータ秘密計画の産物だ。
He did, in detail. Spook and all. It looks like Weller didn't feed me a bunch of lies.
今ならまだ間に合う。国境は越えるな。ではこうしよう。貴様を我が国に相応の待遇を持って迎える。
Unfortunately, I still don't think that's a good option, even though it is probably one of the best bridges that he has left. Son of a bee's telling me to defect to his country now? The captain isn't acting like himself. Is it just me, or is he awfully chatty today? Oh, I see. Well, there's people planned this out pretty darn well. He wouldn't be so darn talkative if he could get in touch with the research facility. I doubt he'd even bother.
ベアチナは少尉を生かしてやろう。計画に協力するなら貴様にくれてやってもいい。
Dang it. The snake always knows exactly what buttons to push. I want nothing better than to give him a piece of my mind. But I'm not going to fall for it. This is obviously a trap. The moment I open my mouth, he'll learn about my location.
いいか、少尉。あの二人はソ連の、いや、人類の至宝、最強の剣だ。 あの者たちの量産が叶えば、核や G 弾のように環境を汚すことなくユーラシアからベータを駆逐できる。多くの国々が安全な国土を奪還できる究極の人道兵器なのだ。
Now it sucks because they're still like seeing them as non-human, which is not true at all. They're human. They're absolutely human. Just because they're lab grown doesn't mean they're not human. And the other thing too is that, like, ironically, I still do agree with him because I do believe, like, especially I have the foreknowledge obviously, but even before I did think Yoko Sensei was right that Alternative 5 is a terrible idea. Alternative 4 is the best plan we've got. But even through Alternative 4, it still requires like a physical recapturing of Earth. And so, and that'll be dangerous. That'll be hard. It'll be really hard, terrible, especially unless we have a lot of, oh shoot, what are they called? Susanos. Yeah, right. But like, even then, we still have the issues of like, we need pilots. We need people to fight. And so there's a good argument to be said that like, the Scarlet Twins and the program and what they represent would be a really important factor in reclaiming Earth during an Alternative 4 retake plan. But, I still don't like it. Speaking, I think of Kriska and Inya's weapons makes me sick to my stomach.
確かに他者から見たあの者たちは不幸だろう。だが、本人はそう思っているかな?
Now, that doesn't work because Inya does. I mean, she doesn't see herself as a victim per se, but she came to Yuuya asking him to help her. Like, he's not just doing this just on a whim. She asked him for help. He has a point. Kriska and Inya would never think of themselves as pitiful guinea pigs. But the piece of crap is very last person I want to hear it from. I don't care if I'm acting like a kid. I don't care if I don't know my place. I don't care if I'm contradicting myself. I won't ever give this butthole any satisfaction.
まあいい。仮にあの者たちが犠牲者だったとしよう。その献身で数千も、いや、億単位の人間が救われるのだぞ。
Interesting. Because the first thing I want to say is like, no! But then you gotta realize, it's like, isn't that what every soldier's trying to do? Everyone who's fighting in the war is trying to do what it takes, including potentially sacrificing themselves, to save the tens, millions, hundreds of millions of humans left alive and their future potential descendants. It's literally the soldier's sacrifice. It's the soldier's price. The soldier's, you know, what, like, people who sign up for war probably don't comprehend that, but the idea ultimately is like, you understand when you sign up, especially during times of conflict, that you might be asked to do that sacrifice. You might find yourself in a position where you are the one who is sacrificed for that. And it's such a worthy trade-off. It is. It's the worthiest. That's why we should have the utmost respect for people who serve in the military. Like, I feel like people who are in the military can be pushed to do really terrible things, and I don't have any respect for people who use their positions of power, especially in a time of crisis or a time of conflict, to unilaterally exercise their own will and desires on a helpless populace. Like, that's terrible. But when people are genuinely just fighting to try and protect their friends, their loved ones, and the innocent, like, there's nothing more worthy than that. And you also have this idea that, like, he's got a point, but the issue is that they're not humanized. They treat them like objects, and they never let them have like a life. They never let them feel emotions. They never let them embrace human, like, expectancy, like human stuff. Like, I don't like, and I think it's wrong that they are like essentially like growing and raising these girls to be sacrifices, to be, you know, the self-sacrificing doll. Almost like somewhere between like the TSF and a soldier. Like, somewhere in between is where they see them. And that's just not right. If Kriska and Inya want to jump into the machine and do what it takes to serve and save humanity, like they did during the Red Line incident, where they willingly subjected themselves to the psychosis that could potentially end in their deaths, they did that knowing what it would probably cost because they wanted to save their people. That was a human choice, and they have that right. But when Kriska and Inya are in a position like now where they're desperate for help and they don't want to die, that stops being the problem. They should be allowed to still live because they're people. That's basically the same thing Lieutenant Colonel Latrova told me.
我ら人に平等があるとするならそれは時間と死のみだ。そして他者を犠牲にすることなく生きている者はいない。私はその現実から目をそらさない。
Interesting. So he's claiming he's coming from a position of pure pessimism and pure reason. Like saying like, look, I don't like it, but someone's got to take the bullet. I might as well be me and these girls. They're the ones that can do it all, and I'm the one that can make it happen. And if we don't, people die. I need to make sure that they live. And it's hard to argue that. It's hard to argue against it.
それとも何か？向こうの民を等しく前線に立たせろというのか？人は平等だという幻想にすがって。
I hate how much sense he's making.
あの者たちは特別なのだ。特別な能力を授けられ、作り出されているのだ。
Oh, he's getting actual emotion. Holy cow.
人の世を救うため人々に望まれ、人によって遺伝子を操作されて生まれた生命なのだ。
Is he for real? Genetic engineering? He knows that. Ugh, I guess he didn't pay attention. What's with all these pictures? Are they supposed to be alternative 3?
ベーロイクリストルと呼ばれる特殊胚から複製され、世代別技術で培養された兵器なのだ。
Yeah, so this is where he's saying that, like, the barrel crystal. I feel like I learned a little bit about it, but I can't remember. But of a special embryo barrel crystal, and wasn't the idea though that the embryo was like injected, like they took embryos and injected them with like beta DNA or with G materials, and then they had one that lived, and it manifested these powers. Did he just say cultivated?
まさかとは思うが、アメリカに連れて行けばなんとかなると考えてはいまいな。
Here, he's right again. He's right again. Would you kindly shut up already?
仮に生命維持が可能だとしよう。だが、扱いは変わらんぞ。アメリカの連中は第三計画を維持にして我が国の最新兵器たるあの者たちを研究対象とするだけだ。
Exactly.
人々を救う目的を与えられて生を受けながら、モルモットとしての生涯を過ごすとしたら、それこそ不幸だと思わんか。
I mean, to be fair, Sandek wasn't doing much better, but, stones and glass houses type of situation here. For both of them. Yuuya and Sandek.
そして近い将来、アメリカであの者たちの末裔が量産され、市民権を餌に徴収した難民部隊とともに、戦場に送られるというわけだ。
Again, stones and glass houses, Sandek. Russia's not much better. They don't even dangle citizenship as bait. They simply just make everyone who wasn't like pure-blooded Russian be the front line soldiers and force them everyone's in the draft, but they prioritize them and their positions to be specific. Sandek, Russia's not any better in this. America's despicable, yes, but so is Russia.
だがそれも。最も幸運と偶然に恵まれた楽観的予測に過ぎない。
Again, at this point, Weller's clearly betrayed Yuuya to make him the fall guy, and it wouldn't surprise me that even if this actually all played out exactly like Yuuya wants, he would be just absolutely destroyed as soon as they landed.
あの者たちの戦闘兵器としての能力、貴様もよく知っているはずだ。敵の手に渡れば。And this is
where he says that Russia would go to extreme lengths to make sure they died. They actually probably programmed a self-destruct into them, even a mental one. This isn't news to me, pal. Weller already told me about the drugs they need to take.
遺伝子操作段階で仕込まれた保安機構。特殊な指向性タンパクの定期摂取による延命。
Directional proteins. Okay. Directional proteins, if I'm recalling correctly, they're proteins that are shaped in a particular way. You can almost think of them like keys to locks. Directional proteins essentially go and are the ones that help, release chemicals. So they talk about like why you need to sleep. Your sleep is actually when your brain is resetting, because in order to do a lot of like the calculations your brain does, neurons release chemicals from one end to the other. But once those chemicals release, the way that the receivers work is that they bind to the next cell in line. After a while, the first signal sender is going to run out of that chemical. And it can try and recover through the day, but it's never going to recover enough. When you sleep, your brain is resetting, where you're kind of flushing your system and getting all those sensor things kind of sent back so they can reset and kind of get the signals out. Because remember, like, we're computers up here, biological ones. We don't have to have an exterior like plug-in power source. We have food, and that food is what we use to build up charge, and we use that charge and that energy to send chemical signals back and forth. It's very interesting, and I love the biology of it. But directional proteins are the ones that allow transfer from material from one side to another, and then from that side back, based on the release of those proteins and their development. So they've built into them the system directional proteins, which essentially would mean, like, if I'm reading this right, their brains literally start to shut down because they become incapable of functioning without these proteins. So it's like they took what probably most people have, which is a natural directional protein development, and they purposely gene edit it so that they have a defect where they don't develop that, so that they have to be administered that specific gene, like that specific protein regularly, or else their bodies and minds would literally shut down. They essentially would just go into a coma, and then their brain would just die. Which is, we did see, that's kind of what seemed to happen out in the ocean during all the shenanigans in the Bahamas. ABS, directional proteins, during the genetic engineering stage. What the hell?
その蘇生を知っているのは我々だけだ。貴様が連れ出したとしても、ベアチノは少尉が生きられるのは長くて数日。
And Weller and the Americans don't really care. They just need live tissue samples. They can recreate their own if they just have their genetic sequence. Is he fetching serious? No way that's true. Son of a beast trying to get it rise out of me. No, it's again, Sandek is doing exactly what Weller did, which is twisting truths to tell you lies. He's telling you true things to manipulate you. And you're too freaking easy to manipulate, man.
ベアチノは少尉は間もなく死ぬ。あれはそう作られているのだ。貴様のやろうとしていることは全て無駄なのだ。自分とそこに関わる他者の人生をもっとよく考えろ。
He's right.
どうだ、見つかったか？
いえ、テストサイト 18E92 演習場でロストして以降、追跡できていません。米軍の衛星情報が遮断されている以上、ステルス機の追跡も発見も困難です。
凶暴を疑われているのか。クソ。
隊長、ピリピリしてますね。そりゃそうでしょ。
Yeah, this is like, I mean, this isn't as bad as the terrorist attack, but it's pretty up there for the program.
集中しなさい、あなたたち。了解。
高村注意、ご無事で。
They let her out.
ただいま戻りました。
うん。状況の把握は？
は、概要だけは米軍から。
すでにハイネマンさんも解放され、本社と連絡を取っている。対策を協議中だ。
Yuuya really screwed the pooch here. Like, can Yuuya please just decide he's in over his head, there's not much he can do, he stops his TSF and turns himself in. He's gonna be screwed with that case, but at least he doesn't kill everything else involved in him.
注意。国連軍への追撃申請は？
再三しているが、回答がまだだ。連中、アメリカの出方を見ているのだろう。
A big problem with the UN, because it's a collaboration of a lot of different nations, it means that they have to be careful. They have to be really careful what they do.
これは、まだ一部の人間しか知らない情報だが、ブリッジスは強奪の直前、セスチナ少尉と密会し、ソ連施設に出向いていた。
How did he know?
それは。
監視カメラの映像で確認されている。詳細不明だが、この動きにソ連が関わっている可能性が高い。
Weller! I hate him so much right now.
ブリッジスがソ連の工作員だとでも。
あくまで可能性だ。だが、ソ連軍の介入も考慮しておくべきだ。
はい。
She's so miserable.
すでにアメリカはノーラッド管轄の衛星情報を遮断している。ソ連も国連も、当然我々も信用されていないということだ。高村中尉、本件は私が指揮を取る。君は本国との連絡や調整に集中したまえ。
Yeah, honestly, with the way this is going, she might need to be expedited quickly to Japan or she will be put in prison.
いえ、待ってください。私に指揮を。いえ、私が指揮します。本件の背後には、おそらく、国家、組織問わず、複雑な利害が交錯しています。中尉がおっしゃるように、状況以下では不測の事態。
If they think about it and they use the emergency line, maybe she could talk him down.
本件は日本の事案。そして私は、XFJ 計画の帝国総代です。ですが若輩ゆえ、周囲のご経験と見識にすがる局面も多々ありましょう。何卒、補佐をよろしくお願いします。
I like how she considers this the darkest hour.
わかった。だが、
はい。
本当に、最後までやれるのだな。
Yeah. He doesn't even realize, like, how personal this this already is, and let alone is going to have to be if she has to order his death. Like, I imagine the whole control room suddenly freezes at those lines. They're like, oh no. Yes.
はい。たとえ私の手で、知らぬ鋳型を打つことになろうとも。
Here we go. So he's already made it. He actually made it there. Okay, we're gonna stop here. I hate it. 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 I hate it so much. But this is a good place to stop. Cause you beautiful idiot. I hate this so badly. I was so worried right from the get-go, and like anytime someone's selling you a pitch and is pushing time, you should always be worried. I understand that sometimes you need to make like critical decisions in the moment, but when somebody else is pushing you and telling you that you're the only one who can make this incredibly dangerous decision and take all the responsibility and all the risk, that's way too much. But it's because it's Yuuya, because he's so dedicated, he's so caring, and he's not a three-dimensional thinker. And more importantly, he's a man who thinks with his heart. He fell for it. Again, like, you couldn't have pulled it off if you didn't have believable things. And so they used the truth. He used the truth. Well, he uses the truth to tell lies. It's so scary because it's so real. It's absolutely a real tactic. And okay. So yeah, this is going to end poorly. There's no happy ending here. Like, he's gone too far. The fact that he has broken in, like, he's gonna get him out, and then it's all just gonna go to hell, and it's all gonna be worthless. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna hate it. I know I want to play for next week. I want to see how this goes, but I'm already just, like, sick to my stomach. It's gonna be awful, and it's very much in line with Alternative. Alternative just is the timeline of ultimate pain. It's a good timeline because we know it ends properly, but it still sucks. It's just... Okay. But we're done for today. We can just digest all this madness. And we'll come back next week. Ready to see what happens. But yeah, I hope we'll get there. And, man, it's hard to think, but this really must be, like, close to endgame for this entire story. Like, I don't see the game going on much longer than this, so... Yep. we'll see. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for joining me on the channel, for being a part of this wonderful journey, and nail-biting and just eye-rolling and soul-crushing as it always is. It means the world to me that you're here to share it with me. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. I look forward to reading your comments, especially because I know you're going to be chewing at the bit, trying to want to tell me stuff that's about to happen that we can't see yet, but I've always been appreciative of your restraint, and I look forward to seeing what you think about it. So until the next video, watch me up and see me next. I'll see you there.